Pow. Here's how it'll look. I've been saying this about the splitting of the timelines since the day I first got a clue, and now Parks has confirmed it for me. He says it's days away. Please take an hour to watch this. Jason Q is a genius as well. Video linked below. Parks, you're the first person who understands this, and I don't really discuss this because a lot of people weren't at the level. Now you've brought this. 2012 we had the opportunity to break forward, but we did not have the critical mass on the ground, so it wasn't that we missed it. We were put back through the cycle. There was an opportunity in 2012 to walk through the door, but there wasn't a critical mass. We just couldn't do it. We had to wait. That's why it's so important that we get the critical mass of awake and aware people, so when this opportunity comes and it's days away literally, we can walk through the door, and that's ascension. When we do move to ascension we will still be here, but we see truth, and the gap between us and the people who aren't aware will be like the Grand Canyon. Parting of the waves. Yes, this is the timeline split that Ivo is waiting for as well. I don't normally do futurizing or predictions because we know these often smack of disinformation, lying and deception. They are a ploy used by the dark ones to mislead us. Not all predictors are crooked, but I see a lot of predictions on here that never come true. This I will commit to. There's a window of opportunity coming up and I've been preparing for it personally, and damn, I hope we make it this time. I believe we need around 70%, but I'm not sure on that. It's like my guys keep saying, we set things up so that you on Earth can decide whether to love it or to leave it, to go with the light or to continue on in darkness. That is the decision we all have to make, on all the issues we see being brought out now, be they jab or no jab, continue with lockdowns or protest them, whatever. You have to make a choice on all these issues, and then you will have your critical mass, or not. Maybe you're like me, you experience people who are unawakened differently. That, for me, would be my family, who I have broken ties with anyway, but I experience people like they are kind of flat, like they're black and white TV instead of LCD TV in full color. I believe that all the light workers and other awake people whose jobs are under threat, whose lives are threatened with grievous change through the DS diabolics who are mandating illegalities in the name of overtaking the planet, all those who are threatened by these things are the ones who will start the new ascended timelines. Because those timelines are based on higher values, not start your slaving job to get your pay, means of income, quote, Canadians Bachman Turner Overdrive, taking care of business, who apparently were ahead of the time themselves back in the 70s. There will be new means for you to survive upon. There will be new opportunities to create the vision you've had in your head all this time. New healthcare is already started, new businesses based on honesty and better ethics that actually serve the public instead of putting you onto a phone tree making you wait for hours to get your charge reversed. None of this stuff. It will all be different. Ivo, and as far as the critical mass goes, the more characters like Mr. Biden, the Chinese Communist Army, Trudeau, and New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern exist and continue to carry out their program, the more people will continue to wake up. The exact number, my love, would be 2/3 of the world's population, about 67%. Me, oh yeah, Nancy Pelosi stepped down, and the Governor Cuomo of New York is gone too. 2/3. I'd still like to see more. Ivo, people can come off the lower timelines anytime they desire, however they will have more work to do in order to bridge the vibrational gap as the higher timelines continue to rise in frequency. Me, I guess we have to help them. Just waking up isn't going to be enough for them, they'll have to do more work in order to jump on the bandwagon to 5D. I love Simon Parks. I could just kiss him. He gets me. He knows my mind. Ivo, he is a good ambassador for Earth. Me, ha. At 10:50 in Parks' video, Jason talks about when they were going to release the Bubonic Plague on us. Ashtar had commented that we need to stick with CVD because they have worse pathogens up their sleeves that would kill us instantly. Of course, their preference is C because with it they install the NWO control regime. It's not about sickness. For killing us off, any pathogen would do so. That's not their immediate goal, yet. And there you go, I said bubonic last year or so on my other website, which got censored off of the internet. Wonder what happened to that program, or is it just on another timeline that doesn't affect me? Ivo, it is slower in the making, my love. It is because C was so effective that this was created for you, by you I might add. Yes, whatever you believe, you create, so once you believe there is no C virus, you cannot become sick of it. Me, so the timelines are about to split out. Cobra was talking about that as well on his blog, said we had till about October 19th, and then he mentioned the light grid dropped by 40%, so we have to stop fearing, folks. Not fearing is easy, just raise your frequency. I use meditations by Lane Redmond to clear and realign my chakras all the time, and this does the job. I don't fear any of this stuff anyway, but if I'm out of sorts, I realign my chakras and I feel a lot better. I'll link that in below as well. I do this meditation lying down because I can't alter states while I'm walking so easily, but you may be able to or not. Do whatever works for you to get your vibe up, and you will instantly stop fearing, and then you will start wondering what you were ever scared of before. Easy way to jump timelines too. Odeon said to me the other day that perception of reality and the creation of our own timelines are two of the most important jobs we have ahead of us. And he's right. Think about what he's said. Deliberate creation of your own life's circumstances is absolutely in the grasp of all of us. It's a question of not responding to negative thoughts in your head and not creating negative circumstances for yourself. Ivo, correct. That is how you place yourself up on a highest timeline. Understand that negative thoughts are not yours anyhow. If anything, they are learned from people who taught you, so ignore them. Me, like when I criticize myself for being overweight, it's not even me doing that. That was my mother, and ultimately my entire family ridiculing me over my weight. I adopted that limited belief as my own. When I'm fat I have to hate myself. The fact is, I used weight as a means of manipulating others' impression of me. I didn't want people around because many of them were too negative, so I put on weight just to manipulate them into doing what I figured they would, make fun of me. They confirmed my suspicions about life. Many of them did. Others didn't. But I didn't notice them because they didn't react to me the way I expected. I used weight to control my life. I chose to experience rejection because I found it preferable to being disappointed again. Clearly, I was already aware of my altruistic alien mind and how it didn't fit in on Earth, and I manifested that by manipulating people's impression of me. Ivo, yes, you did. When you find yourself criticizing your weight, just stop it and realize it is not an inherent part of your thought process. Your mother put it there. Many of you must look at these things as well in order to keep your frequency up. You were maligned for many things, perhaps for being too sensitive, and you learned to reject yourselves for these things, but in fact it was others that rejected you for being that way, and so you should understand that and make peace with yourselves. Ivo, your mother also ridiculed what you ate when you got older. When you came home with McDonald's as every teenager does, when you drank Coca-Cola as every teenager does, this somehow warranted her disapproval. That is where you got into the habit of being critical of what you eat. Me, yeah, I don't remember that. Ivo, you do not remember everything, and it is often the parts you do not remember that you have the most trouble stopping simply because you do not remember them. But understand, if you will, that you were socialized to fit into life on Earth. However, you all have souls, but these souls went largely ignored in favor of your social conditioning. Understand that the social conditioning you received was done largely by your parents, and so many of the things your ego believes in that limit you came from them. Simply ignore them. Me, I still like to eat vegetables, that my mother taught me. The Dutch are huge on particularly cruciferous vegetables in their diets. Ivo, yes, but you use this to your detriment when you are not eating a lot of vegetables. You get on your own case about it. However, you do not do it with fruit because your mother was not a large fruit eater. Also, your mother was vegetarian, but you eat meat because you have an iron imbalance. Me, yes, that's true. Ivo, examine everything you do, people. Everything. Who said you had to eat a lot of vegetables? Who says you have to go for a walk every day? Who says you have to exercise every day? Who told you you should read books? Who told you to ignore your soul because it is too sensitive? Who taught you to drive on the right side of the road? Who taught you that you must wear flat shoes? The point is, my love, your limited ideas, especially the ones that cause conflict within you, are lowering your frequency. It is a question of learning what works for you and disposing of what you were told to do by perhaps well-meaning others, but nonetheless those whose vision of life was different than yours would be now, and whose guidance of life is different from your soul's guidance for you. Me, yes. Ivo, your mother saved money throughout her lifetime in order that she would have enough to allow the longest living partner in her marriage to live comfortably till 90 years old. Your financial people tell you to save for your retirement. You did not do so. Me, because I'm not going to retire, Ivo. Ivo, that is one point, but the perception is that at some point you will want to stop working or you will be incapable of working. Your pension is $700/month, something you can hardly live off of. Me, I don't have to. Ivo, no, you bought them and now you will see that the financiers were wrong in your case. Me, yes. Ivo, you followed your intuition, not general thinking. And it is this that will break through the old society and its limited ideas, that and the fact that the DS is being taken out. The point of this is, keep your vibration high. Understand that when you have ideas about life, such as, I should eat vegetables all the time, that these are old ideas that create inner conflict. Inner conflict is a way to lower your frequency and to put you on a lower timeline. Raise your frequency by challenging these ideas and then listening to what your soul tells you need to eat. Sharon eats less now than ever before, and it is because of her higher frequency. She consumes low-frequency foods in order to continue to ground herself in her body, which she has done all her life. Being a 14th dimensional, that energy is not the energy of grounding, and in order to ground her body she has eaten foods lower in frequency to keep herself on a third-dimensional timeline. Yes, that has made her overweight, that and the toxins she has picked up doing so, but it was necessary. There is much more information to be had than you are aware of as a third-dimensional physical human, far more. What appears to be incorrect to the physical being can be correct for the multidimensional being, which Sharon always was. If you are the same, then you have done things differently, and these old messages must be erased from your minds lest they create conflict. Me, thanks, Ivo. Ivo, my love, you are almost there. We will do a video about your exploratory visit up north in 2 weeks. Me, yes, done.